language, like you said, at the door, because really everything that you say, people remember, right? Words are powerful. They're very, very powerful words. And so with emotional intelligence and having that capability, you have a good handle and identify and understand your emotions and regulate your emotions. And it's true, that's what we're here for, giving the professional the unbreakable spirit. How do we get that, Saskia? Well, emotion, self-control, mastery, right? Along resilience is really how you show up as a top performance leader with an unbreakable spirit. So thank you for being that person. And of course, it takes a lot of humility, right? And having empathy for the person that you are engaging with, right? That is essentially what emotional intelligence is and acting out. So thank you for being, the professional, one of the professionals who really do lead with that. And because of that, you're able to win friends and influence people. And so with that, I want to say really that I know you've read a lot of books and resources on resilience. That's one of the things we connected with as well, because you're passionate about resilience and I am a global resilience ambassador. So with that, what specific skills or competencies related to emotional intelligence, which is really connected, is the foundation for resilience, so to speak, do you believe are crucial for success at this level?
So I'm going to ask you to re-ask me that question, because I think there's something specific that you're looking for that I didn't answer. So you're wanting to know
skills or competencies related to emotional intelligence, do you believe are crucial for success as a C-suite, a leader of an empire? So maybe top 3 things or 3 attributes. What would that be?
Have a place where you can be super real. And what I mean by that is, if you leave things at the door, people could say, well, you're not being authentic. And I'm like, yes, I am. I'm being authentic in where I need to be and say what I need to do. But there's going to be a place, and I find that those of us that are working within the multiplex, right? And multiplex, I mean doing more than one thing at once. I don't mean like some kind of esoteric. I mean, I have multiple companies, we have families, we have responsibilities. It's the multiplex. You have teams or people you're taking care of. So I think there needs to be a place to be real. One of those places for me has been through journaling. So that's a place where I can literally, honestly write down everything I'm thinking. I don't have to screen it. I don't have to apologize for it. I don't have to be careful. I don't have to watch my language, whatever, right? And then just really write and write and write. For me, write and write and write and write and write. And what tends to happen is then I go from writing about what I'm writing about to somehow getting solutional. So there's something around it has solutions, or through that process, I will hear something. For me, one of the most important things is to listen to the whisper. Listen to the whisper. So I don't know why when I was reading, yesterday I was reading and doing a meditation, I heard, you need to do acupuncture more. I'm like, okay. So I wrote it on my list to do, right? Okay, go book in and get some, make acupuncture, more regular right now. And then when it feels like you don't need to, you don't need to. So I think listening to the whispers, having a place to be really super authentic and real. And the thing for me as someone who's multi-visionary is learning how to step back from the download and not over-examining it, but asking more questions. I get very excited, when I got asked about the Emmys, my blood was rushing through my body and I was super hyper excited and honored and what have you, right? And so I go make things happen. And I was like, it was a full yes in my body. And then it's making sure I ask all the practical questions as well. As a visionary, I need to bring that other piece in. So that's really it for me. And at this stage, it is being willing to spend money on experts in one area. So I've had a lot of coaches. I coach every day. So I have that, but there was something I wanted to learn specifically about the negotiation process after what we've gone through with this financial. And I knew someone that did that specific. And I didn't buy one session. I bought 10. If I don't do the other ones, okay, fine. but I gave myself enough time to interject and interplay. So I'm adapting into that information. I'm learning that information. And then guess what shows up? That shows up and you get tested. That's kind of fun that you get to go through. And then working through with an expert on that one thing. So that's kind of where I'm at in terms of, so experts. Mm-hmm.
Well, that's awesome, because you definitely predicted what my next question was.
Okay.
And it was along the line of the training and development. So I'm just going to go above and beyond and see if there's one or two maybe resources or programs out there, right, where a professional or an executive leader can enhance their emotional intelligence trait. What would those be?
Yeah. So for me, I go a little more, I go deep within. So right now, what a blessing. I was on the same flyer as Dr. Joe Dispenza, because I know a lot about brain health. I love his metaphysical medical approach to the dynamics of the brain. That was the book that I was reading yesterday. And so for me, it's reading for me about scientific metaphysics, right? Because it's the unlayering of self. So Shakti Gaiwan, Living in the Light at 20, when I was 27, no, maybe 24, changed my life. It was the book that changed my life. It was a book that made me feel normal. It was a book that made me feel like someone understood what was going on in my body. I remember reading it on the back of the bus. My gosh, I must have been maybe even 17, 18 when I say at the back of the bus. And so it was the thing that opened the door for me. And then Dr. Joe Dispenza. And look I do a lot of advocacy for the direct sales industry, right? I had 2 direct sales companies. And I always say that a good direct sales company, and I still do, I spoke on it last month on the summit or last week. And I believe as a platform, it is one of the most powerful platforms for allowing women, particularly because it has the highest ratio of millionaires, to be able to build an international business when you don't have a lot of funds. And you can build globally. And because the company goes global, you can be in wherever you want to be, right? I mean, I love where I live. I don't want to move anywhere else. But there's women in countries they can't if they wanted to live somewhere else. Yes. So they can build that. So I'm a big proponent of that. And I always say in the direct sales industry, most good companies, and if anyone wants to know good, I can give you advice on that. I won't do it right here, is their products with a personal development plan. I mean, there's nothing like entrepreneurship to get to know you. You know what I mean? You're like, I'm not where I want to be yet. Well, the main thing in there was you. So let's go find out about you. So I think testing the waters brings stuff up, and then, you'll be guided towards what needs to happen. But I'm a big believer in books, meditation, journaling, I lean in that direction when it comes to that.
Absolutely right. And I couldn't have said it better. Perfect answer. And so we do have to read, and we do have to consult resources and reliable experts in order to develop ourselves. And it's important to have personal development to grow as a leader. You can't have growth without that. Yeah. So we're going to veer a little bit into, thank you for that, veer a little bit into navigating difficult conversations, which I'm sure it's something that you do pretty much every day, Deborah, right? In your environment and in your, at your level. So what types of difficult conversations do often really arise in your role, right? As an exec for your company?
Yeah. So difficult conversations come, and I don't know where other leaders sit. There's some difficult conversations that are easier than others based on your, I think, level of fear of confrontation or collaboration. And so we do everything we can. I do everything we can to circle as a business, to circle, like I have a staff meeting. I ask who wants to take the floor first. I don't lead. I used to have a staff of 18, and we sat in circles before, Simon was on YouTube saying, you should sit in circles. You know what I mean? So I've always had a circular, no one has hierarchy in our company. No one. I call my executive assistant the CEO. She's the chief everything officer. I'm not attached to the label. So I think because I lead in that collective, that it's easier to have that conversation. But there's times where you need to make that final call. A lot of times my team knows I'm a very picky, creative person. How a flyer goes out, what the color goes out, what it looks like, what the graphic, that's me. That might, they know what I'm like. It might be your annoyance, but that's super important to me. I'm a creative. That matters. Branding, I've CMO'd all my companies, right? I have a CMO, but those things are really important. So the things that are really important to me are really important to me. When I have to talk to someone or there's something, I always lean second. So I lean in first and I ask inquiring questions like, oh, that was interesting. Did we decide to go with red for that? Was there something did I miss something? And they were like, oh yeah, I thought you wanted red. I'm like, it's not really landing. Let's go pink. I don't make it. I said pink. I don't make it like, don't you know that's our branding colors? I don't even go there. Who cares? Doesn't matter. But I try to lean in that direction. Probably the biggest challenge for me in that arena is that I do a lot of work with momagers. So what we didn't talk about is I'm the momager to a 20-year-old who's launching a pretty considerable fashion and art company. And I get to coach other momagers and other dadagers in the dance between conversing as a parent and conversing as a business advisor or a supporter.
Yeah.
Woohoo!
Delicate.
That's a whole different glass of wine. You know what I mean? It's a whole different glass of wine. And you have to have kind skills that might lean in a little bit of what might be not manipulative, but very highly exploratory. You don't give as much. You give freedom here, and so you dance the power decision in interesting ways, and you pull a lot of third parties in. But I would say that because I have the philosophy that even if I give my staff the permission to make decisions and I give them that liberation and they make the wrong decision, who's at fault? I am. I gave them the leeway, see what it looks like, come back to me. Now, if they took liberty in a project and we didn't have that conversation, then I'm like, I'm not sure where that came from. You know what I mean? And then I'm like, yeah, no, it needs to go back. And because we have a respect relationship, they know that, you know, when it comes to things, and they also know my mission. Like if your mission is clear, people won't confront you as much. If they know that your mission is for the higher good, you know, they know that you are, whatever it is, servant leading or leading to the mission of the company. You might be middle management, you might be the only management. And also when you're dealing with contractors, it's important to get your contractors on board with your mission. My CEO is a contract, my CFO is a contract, my marketing thing, they're all contract. So they bill me and I pay them, but they know the mission. They know why we're doing what we're doing. I look for a buy-in. I don't want to deal with people that don't buy into our mission. There's lots of people to choose from. So that helps as well.
Wow. Well, all you said actually embodies servant leadership perfectly well for this entire session so far. And I want to thank you for doing that, because really every day it's of course it could be challenging, but when you do go in and just go in with a mindset that it's not all about you, it's not all about your opinion, and you create that trust, that high level of trust in the environment, then it's easy for people to come in, you know, and come on board on your agenda. And like you said, if they already know the vision, it's already laid out, you know, there's no confusion there, and they're committed to that vision, it's easy to even get past, navigate those difficult conversations. So thank you very much, because